Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm currently sitting on the floor because I have tried every possible angle in this room and this is the best lighting I can possibly get. So I apologize for the lighting and for the angles. It is currently sunsetting at like 2 o'clock and this is why I hate filming during the fall. So hopefully the setup works for you guys because today I am talking about how I am currently in self-isolation with coronavirus. I have tested positive for coronavirus, so I wanted to share my experience with you guys, talk about my symptoms, where I got it, all that fun stuff that people want to know about coronavirus. So I'm here to tell you guys and talk about my experience with it. I do want to put a little disclaimer that even though my symptoms with corona have been very mild, that doesn't mean that everybody's symptoms are very mild. I don't want anybody to think that just because my symptoms were mild that it is something that we should just, forget about or we should go party or anything, because people have died. It's a very serious illness. A lot of people get it in different ways, and actually I feel like I'm really lucky from what I've heard from my family and friends who've had it. I had it very mild and I'm very thankful for that. I do just want to make that disclaimer before I start this video. So anyway, let's talk about my experience with COVID. So a couple weeks ago I was exposed to corona and I didn't know because I've been working and everything else, and it was a Sunday when I was exposed. At least we think. I mean, there's no way to really prove when you were exposed because I work with different people every day, so who knows. I'm a waitress, so I have a lot of different people sitting at my table. Anyway, it was a Sunday when I think I was exposed, and on Thursday I started having very mild symptoms like a stuffy nose, a little bit of a cough. I never had a fever this entire experience. The highest my temperature got was 99.4. I have sinus disease, so I was diagnosed with acute sinus disease when I was like 16 or something like that. So I deal with frequent sinus infections, and it literally just felt like a sinus infection to me. I had a headache and like pressure in my ears and my head, and so I thought it was just a sinus infection because I just had a stuffy nose and some congestion in my throat. But Thursday I got home from work and I took a long nap and I just took it easy that night, and Friday I still wasn't feeling that great, so I didn't go to work, and Saturday I felt fine. I just had a little bit of a stuffy nose, so I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know that I had been exposed yet at this point. So Sunday came around and we found out that we had been exposed because the people we were exposed to did test positive, and they called us and told us, and I asked them about their symptoms and told them what I had been experiencing, and their symptoms were nothing similar. They did say that it did kind of feel like a sinus infection or like they had a cold, but they had so many other symptoms, like they were coughing till they threw up, or that they were super fatigued and couldn't get out of bed. And I had read that a lot about coronavirus, that the biggest symptom is fatigue and that people can barely get up to go to the bathroom or to even get food, that they pretty much are just bedridden. So I was like, oh, I didn't think anything of it at this point. But when I found out that I had been exposed, I decided to get tested just in case. So again, this was now a full week after I'd been exposed. So I was exposed on Sunday. I found out that I was exposed on Sunday, and then I got tested on Monday because that was the closest test that I could get. The test was not as bad as I was thinking it was. When I was diagnosed with acute sinus disease, they put the camera down my nose and down into my throat, and that was 1,000 times worse than the COVID test. And I was very paranoid about the COVID test because of that camera that I had gotten years and years and years ago. Basically, they do the nasal swab. A lot of people do it different now. I think you can get like a saliva test and like a blood test and a bunch of different tests. But the place I went to CVS, and they just did a nasal swab. I did it myself. It was a self-test thing because the nurse was behind a glass. I put it in my nose and it really tickled like a lot, but it wasn't painful. It didn't make my eyes water or anything like that. It just really was ticklish in the back of my nose. I still didn't think I had it. And then that day I had my first real COVID symptom. Blake and I had gotten a bottle of wine and I was drinking it, and it literally tasted like water, which was so weird to me. I was like, does this wine taste like really bland to you? He's like, no, it tastes very citrusy. I can definitely taste it. I was like, no, this definitely tastes like water to me. And it was the weirdest feeling ever. But I could still taste other things. Like we had cheese that day. I had a salad that day. I could taste everything besides that wine. And then later on in the night, I started noticing that I was being able to taste less and less. And I was getting so paranoid that I actually sprayed my facial toner of rose water in my mouth because I just wanted to see if I could taste it. And I could not taste it at all. It literally tasted like water. And I also noticed that my smell was starting to go away. And it didn't really get bad until the following day, Tuesday, where I would literally put the bar of deodorant up to my nose and I would breathe and it would literally just smell like air. I could not smell anything. And I was spraying my perfume. I couldn't smell my perfume. room. I couldn't smell anything. I had tested my taste that day with a pickle. I could taste the pickle fine, but other things I could not taste at all. Like we had a meal and I didn't know that it had ginger in it. And if you know me, you know that I hate ginger, and I could not taste the ginger at all. And I actually was like, this was when I started thinking like maybe I really can't taste, because when I was dealing with no taste and no smell, I was thinking, okay, maybe it's just because I have a sinus infection. Maybe it's just because, I'm congested, so I get congested, so I can't breathe that well. I can't smell that well. And this was the moment that I was really like, okay, I really can't taste this, because I could feel like the pepper and like the ginger like in the back of my throat, that it was like a little spicy, but I could not taste the spice at all. I just felt it in my throat. And this was when I was like, okay, this is really weird. So another day goes by. Oh, actually, something else that happened that day was Blake started to feel sick. He had woken up 9 times during the night to go to the bathroom, and he was just feeling really tired. He was peeing a lot, and we were like, okay, this might actually be a good sign, because it's probably just a UTI. He probably just has a UTI, and I probably just have a sinus infection, rather than if I did have COVID and I had passed it on to him. We were thinking it was 2 completely separate different things, which is really interesting, because now they are saying that COVID, an overlooked symptom, is frequent urination, which Blake definitely had. Even we took a nap that day and he woke up like 5 times to go to the bathroom during the nap, and he was always peeing. Like we were watching a show and he had to pee like every few minutes. We thought it was a UTI, so he was drinking like cranberry and taking cranberry supplements and Azo and all that other stuff for UTIs. And actually he probably did have COVID at that time with me, but we just didn't know, because it's just now coming out that frequent urination might be a symptom. So that is super interesting to me. Okay, then the next day comes. I still don't have my test results, and I am still like, some things I can taste and smell, some things I can't. This is really bad, but I sprayed perfume in my mouth just because I wanted to see if I could taste it, and I could taste it. It was very gross, but I still couldn't really smell it that well. And then the next day, so I got tested on Monday. It's now like Thursday, I believe. This is really gross, and I'm sorry for the TMI, but I'm just gonna say it. So I had gone to the restroom that day. Sorry, this is really gross, but I had gone to the restroom that day and I didn't smell anything when I went to the bathroom. So I was like, oh, I guess it was just a non-smelling bathroom trip, if you know what I mean. And Blake walked into the bathroom. He's like, oh my gosh, why didn't anybody spray in here? It smells so bad. I was like, what do you mean? I can't smell anything. And I was like breathing through my nose, that literally everything just smelled like air. I could not smell anything, which is also crazy, because people were like farting and stuff around me. I could not smell it at all. Literally everything just smelled like air. And I honestly think that was the worst part about having coronavirus, was not being able to smell through my nose. Like it is so weird holding something right up to your nose and breathing, and you can't smell anything. It just smells like air, literally like air. And it's just, I think the reason why I don't like it is because it just makes you feel so not normal. Like that does not happen in real life. So it's weird. It's just like, I feel like you get really paranoid and you're just like, why can't I smell or taste? And I feel lucky that certain things I could taste and smell, because some people lose their taste and smell completely. And I know people who've lost their taste and smell for months or weeks afterwards. And I'm really lucky that I now have my smell and taste back pretty much in full swing. I don't notice anything different, at least. But yeah, that was probably the worst part, was just not being able to smell anything. So that day I got my test result back. I did not think it was going to be positive in any possible way, and it was positive. When I found out it was positive, I did have a little panic attack, because I was thinking about, how I had been at work, how I had been at different places, how I had exposed different people. And I'm really grateful that I was wearing my mask and that I had taken the precautions of, social distancing and everything else, because as far as I know so far, nobody else has gotten sick from me. And I'm still confused how I even got it in the first place, because the person that I had been exposed to was 6 feet apart from me. It was not coughing or sneezing, and it is not an airborne illness. So I'm still a little bit confused about that part, which makes me think maybe I wasn't exposed because of that particular person. But it's just such a weird illness. Honestly, you can go so long without symptoms. You can have no symptoms and still have it, or you can end up very, very seriously sick. So it's honestly just crazy, and it's a crazy illness, and I'm very thankful that I have had it the way that I have had it, because after I found out that I tested positive, I was just taking my vitamins, I was drinking a ton of fluids like they say to do. I feel totally normal today. I still have a little bit of a stuffy nose, but that's honestly normal for me. I have a stuffy nose most of the time. Today, as I'm filming this, it's currently Wednesday, so I tested positive 6 days ago, so I probably still have it, which is why the CDC says to stay indoors for 10 days after you test positive, I believe, or I think it's 14 days after you're exposed, something like that. But anyway, I'm still in self-isolation, and I am taking every possible precaution that I need to make sure I don't expose anybody else. And it sucks. It honestly sucks because I feel totally normal. I wish I could go to work, and it sucks missing out on 2 weeks of work, and unemployment is out, so that just really sucks. You know, it is what it is, and I feel very lucky that I am in the situation that I am, where I haven't had to go to the hospital, where I've had very mild symptoms, and that I haven't really gotten anybody else sick, so I'm really, really thankful for that. Yeah, it is a very, very weird illness, that's for sure. I also think it's interesting, I went back to work in May. It is currently November as I'm recording this, and I didn't get sick in all of that time. And all of that time I was taking vitamins, I was taking immunity shots, I was taking my emergency, and recently I've been going through a really, really rough patch. If you watch my videos, you might know that I have been really struggling personally, emotionally. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, and I've been really, really, really stressed. And I think that it's interesting that as soon as I got really stressed and I stopped taking my vitamins because I ran out of vitamins, I forgot to order new ones. As soon as that happened, I caught the virus, and I just find that really interesting because that whole time I didn't get the virus that whole time. I think it was because I was taking my vitamins, I was taking care of myself, I wasn't as stressed as I was these past few weeks, and I really do think that that contributed to me getting the virus because, you know, when you're stressed, your immune system weakens. Without the vitamins, my immune system was pretty weak. I just feel like that really did contribute. So if you are taking precautions, I definitely recommend taking your vitamins, keeping an eye on your stress levels, because I do think that was the reason why I got it. We just all need to be safe and take care of each other. It's a crazy, crazy virus. And like I said, I feel very grateful that I had it the way that I did. And I feel grateful that I'm over it this quickly. I'm still taking it easy because a lot of people say that they think they're in the clear and they don't have any symptoms, and then they get really, really sick again. So I feel really grateful. I'm still taking it easy, but I'm using this time being home to my advantage and trying to get some stuff done and film some videos and podcasts and everything else. That's just what's been going on. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it helped you. If you do have any more questions about my experience with COVID, leave them in the comments down below. I'd be happy to answer them for you. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Stay healthy, stay safe, take your vitamins, and take care of each other. Bye, guys.